Ladies and gentlemen, guess who just entered the room? Yeah, you know who it is. Alright, you know who it is. Hey guys, welcome. This is your favorite host, Rhodes, and I got my co-host here, Franklin, and we're gonna be starting our new YouTube channel, which is gonna be about, DC Sundays. So we're gonna talk about DC on Sundays. We're gonna talk about latest movies coming out. Some recent news. We're gonna talk about who our favorite characters are, and with me right now is my boy Franklin. Say what's up, Frank.
How's it going, guys? How's everybody doing?
Yeah, feel free to introduce yourself, Frank.
My name is Frank. I am a superhero fanatic, and I do love my DC most of all, but I do like my heart for Marvel. Favorite superheroes are Superman and Batman.
There you go. Even though those are horrible choices, there's always the Flash and Beast Boy.
According to Corey, it's a horrible choice.
Listen, Superman can run through walls, but he has to break the walls. Flash's phases.
And according to Marvel fans, they said the only character that they will love is Batman.
Oh, wow. Disrespectful.
Yeah.
Gotta talk to those Marvel fans. But before we even start this video, we would like to pay our respects to the late and great Stan Lee, who's passed away recently. And
R.I.P.
And honestly, when I first seen that article, I can't lie, I kind of was like, what the hell? I seen one before and I thought it was just a fake article.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was like I got an update on my phone and it said legendary Marvel icon Stan Lee had passed away, and I was just astonished and surprised, freaked out. Mostly because I didn't think it was gonna come that soon. Like, I knew it was gonna happen at some point in time, but I didn't think it was gonna happen this soon.
Yeah, exactly. But we're not even gonna talk about Stan too much today, even though we love him. That's gonna be left for Marvel Mondays, which is tomorrow. Today the topic of discussion is Aquaman, which I seen the trailer for, and that shit was amazing. I can't lie. I thought it was great. What do you think?
Yeah, I really can't wait for this. This is like, I've been waiting for the Aquaman character to have his spotlight, and I can't wait for this movie to come out because it's gonna be really, really good.
Yeah, I feel like before Aquaman didn't really get much respect. Like, they keep making the whole joke, "Oh, you talk to fish." I'm like, isn't that a cool power?
According to his character hasn't had that much, like to it. His
Yeah.
Since the Super Friends, since the 1970s Super Friends.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, ever since then, the character of Aquaman has never really gotten that heartbreak yet. He's been played as like a joke mostly.
With that, honestly, I could say, like, I think Super Friends kind of made him into that kind of joke.
Oh no, it was. I was watching a short clip of a documentary on Aquaman.
Yeah.
And it said even when Jason Momoa was on Conan one night on his late night show, he said that his character was Aquaman had really been since Super Friends made him into a joke, because all the powers he had was just talking to fish. And even like there's been a lot of parodies out of Aquaman just making fun of the character, even in the SpongeBob TV show with Barnacle Man and the other guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was
Barnacle Man and something Barnacle Boy or something like that. Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy.
My fault. It's Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy.
People are gonna crucify us for that.
TV show in like 5 years. Yeah, exactly.
They're gonna be like, "What the hell?"
Yeah.
No, but
don't hate. Don't send me hate mail.
Yeah, please don't send us hate mail or death threats. Like, how could you forget? No, but I really like how they're really bringing the whole how I feel. I'm sorry guys, I'm saying this, I can't get it out. But how I feel is how they're doing with Thor, especially because like Thor, in the same respect, was kind of one of those characters where like, yeah, people thought he was pretty cool, but then at the same time they're like, well, you got guys that can fly, you got a dude in an iron suit and one in a bat suit. Like, they're not as cool as these other characters. In like recent years now, Thor's becoming like a more of a mainstay, especially with the whole I don't know how to describe it, but I see it was like you see how like in Ragnarok, Thor Ragnarok. If any of you guys haven't seen it, go see it. They
Great
kind of
movie.
opened up for Thor a lot more, and they gave him that comedic like what is it, scenes, a lot of comedic scenes. I feel like where Thor's not as serious, he's more of like, oh, he's like you, he's kind of more cool to talk to. Like, how do I
Yeah,
say
they really more, lighthearted, family friendly more,
mm-hmm.
not so serious. I kind of did like it. Like I heard like other arguments about like the other Thor movies. They were pretty boring. Like they were
Yeah,
good, but people thought they were pretty boring. But the third one got more because it showed a different tone than the other two movies,
yeah.
and it showed a more like more definitely more action, but definitely more like comedic, the comedic side. Which now all Marvel movies are having all that comedic scenes and stuff like that.
Yeah, which works out real good. I think they got that idea
Yeah,
was
they
when
really do it. Yeah, they really,
Robert Downey
yeah, they really got
Jr.
it down good. They really got it down really good. Yeah, ever since the first Iron Man movie, now like most of all the other Marvel movies are adding up to that, which is like I don't mind because as long as they do it really well, I'm not complaining.
Yeah, exactly. Like I feel like that's how it should be. Like I don't like with characters like for example Wally West. I'm a big fan of Wally West, and the reason why is because he's not always serious. There's times where you get where like you'll get him where he's doing things such as making jokes when jokes aren't needed, but it kind of adds like it takes away from the pressure all the time. For like example,
Hmm
like sometimes I like watching what is it? When you watch a Batman, like even like when you're watching a Batman movie or
hmm
whatever, you'll even see like they do it real good where they add those little jokes like here and there, like animated series wise. I can't say in the movies themselves they've done that so far.
hmm
Like I can't,
Yeah,
but it does. It's like the tension is like released after you when they do stuff like that, and I think that's really cool because a lot of the characters for Aquaman they make them really serious.
yeah, and I definitely like it too because it gets the audience more like, oh, like they get those action scenes when they're like, very suspenseful. They get those love scenes, then they get
Hmm.
those like really sad scenes. But then also in all the mix between throughout the whole movie, they also get those bits and pieces of like jokes inside it, where
Yeah, like
it makes like
Aquaman.
it comforts the audience a little bit more.
Aquaman, I'm not trying to like. I'm not really saying that like Aquaman's just like how Marvel's Black Panther is, but they have similarities like the whole going to the kingdom, going like ruling the kingdom and stuff. But it's like different,
Yeah,
you
I
know.
definitely. Yeah, yeah, I
T'Challa grew up in
definitely.
that kingdom, so you kind of see this like, for example, like but the similarities is like in a way of like, all right, what if T'Challa didn't grow up in that kingdom? You know what I mean?
Hmm
Like, would he have turned
Definitely.
out the same way? Would he have been accepted?
Yeah, definitely. Like when I definitely seen it too, because it's mostly like a mix of the two of like Thor and Black Panther, and they
Yeah,
mix into one. So like,
because
yeah, I was talking to
cause
one of my coworkers at work, and then when the first Aquaman trailer came out this summer, he was like, "Oh, well, is it like DC making another like, is DC's making their own Black Panther, like a Black Panther on under the sea?" I was like, "No, it was just like I explained to him that no, it's just like that's just a similarity because a lot of DC characters and Marvel characters they both that's a lot of similarity like characters with each
yeah,
other, and that's because that's because they're both their companies are growing at the same rate."
yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it was, and it's also the fact too is you had creators from was it either working on Marvel or DC, which switched over and it was like let me take this idea, which is a really good idea, and let me change it up in a different way. Which I like that
Definitely.
whole I like that because you get different stories like even if it's not the same character like for example Neymar
hmm
isn't exactly like Aquaman but they are basically the same character in a way. The
I'm still
only
waiting until they revive that character too. They revived him in the comic books, but I'm waiting
yeah
until like they bring him back into like the movies or something. That'd
and
be pretty cool.
the trailer I'm talking about where I seen this on New Rockstars. If you guys want it, go check New Rockstars out. Fantastic channel on YouTube. And what they do is they take Marvel movies, DC movies, and they show you the Easter eggs and stuff that you probably wouldn't catch on to. And if you're a really big avid comic fan, you'll really love New Rockstars. Shout out to them. Uh, and one of the things like they was showing some of the stuff like they're gonna introduce Atlantis, but as a whole, where like I don't remember in the comics them talking about the seven kingdoms of Atlantis.
Uh, They definitely did. Well, when I read the new 52, all the new 52 of Aquaman this summer,
Yeah.
yeah, they're definitely taking it because I recently talked to you, Corey, about like the last time about like they're taking the director James Wan. He took some of
Mhm.
like the character storylines and the
Yeah.
writers,
And
and
he
he took
altered
out
him.
from the new 52. Yeah, the new 52 storylines about the trench and the I mean not the trench, the trident,
Yeah.
and like the talking about the Seven Kingdoms, which is gonna add on to the movie. So like
Yeah.
I definitely thought it was cool. Yeah, if you guys get a chance to read the new 52 of Aquaman, it's such a great like if you guys don't know the much about the character, I would definitely recommend you guys to read the new 52 series because it's a really great storyline, especially if you guys don't know about the character or anything like that, or any
Exactly.
other characters or anything. But
I
I highly recommend it.
I liked it, and I really liked the. I didn't get to read all of it. I'm gonna be honest, but I read probably like his origins, I believe, and I like the whole fact like they go over the whole, he defeats Orm, and Orm in a way isn't really evil. I mean, he's looking out for Atlantis, his own home, in a way like you would say Killmonger was looking out for Wakanda, where he was like, well, let's put us before we put, you know, all these people ahead of us, the surface dwellers to the Atlanteans, and
No, yeah, definitely.
I kind of like the stance in which Arthur's like, yeah, but you still have to abide by the rules. Like in the original, in the origin, it was more about like, oh, you like even though you did have a good cause, like this is a surface. There's different laws on the surface than there is in our own kingdom, and he abided by that. And like one thing I need explained is I thought what's his name, Black Manta, was supposed to be like his half brother and something like that. What is that? Do you know the origins?
Yeah, they did talk about it in the older series, the first Golden Age when they first created Aquaman. They
Yeah.
don't really follow up to them much, but if you read, if that's why I'm telling you guys, I'm definitely I'm definitely gonna sell you guys the new 52 right now.
Yeah.
Like they definitely went to Black Manta's origins, which is crazy because Black Manta's origins is like I'm not gonna tell you the whole thing. I just want you guys to get like a feel and to get you guys a chance to read it.
Yeah, if
But
you
yeah,
guys want, check it
Black
out.
Manta. Yeah, Black Manta. Basically, Black Manta is like a regular human being who's an African American
Mhm.
underneath the suit that he has, which is like a high tech suit.
Yeah.
And definitely, he just wants all he just wants revenge of like Aquaman, and he just wants to rule Atlantis and also try to get some treasure. Because what it is that his character is really is a pirate, like one of those like smuggling pirates who just like looks around for treasure and tries to steal things,
Yeah.
and that's what he basically is to Aquaman. But yeah, if you guys read the new 52, and it tells the whole origins of the Aquaman, of I mean of Black Manta, and like I would definitely like see if you guys get a chance, just definitely like read that new 52.
Yeah. Well, the actor that's gonna be playing Black Manta, I realized that he's black. Was he black originally?
Yeah, he was black originally. Yeah. What do you
Okay.
mean in in the comic books or the actor in
In the
general?
comic books, I never like really got to see
Yeah,
under
yeah,
the mask.
yeah, definitely. Cause they like I said again, like in the old Golden Age when they started creating like Aquaman in the old comic books,
Yeah.
they didn't really go into more of Black Manta's origins or anything like that.
Yeah.
But like definitely like when it was continuing to follow up, yeah, there was like there was definitely a stuff that yeah that he was African American too
And if you guys aren't
in the
familiar with
comic
Black
book.
Manta, Black Manta is a man. He's a regular human man who has a special suit, which basically lets him fly in the air. But not only that, but underwater gives him like the ability to maneuver really well. So, I mean, he's able to maneuver enough to fight. The king of Atlantis himself. So this guy is pretty badass. And I believe was he part of like a special organization? Like, how exactly did he get all? How exactly did Black Manta himself get to that whole origin, like,
So
was because I know in the movie he's trying to get revenge for his dad. They made that clear, but like explain how that all got in, how that all happened, if you know.
so yeah, definitely in the comic books again, like the New 52, it went into so basically it was when Arthur Curry, who was Aquaman,
Mhm.
was getting chased by his Black Manta's original father, who was the
Yeah.
original Black Manta.
Yeah.
And what had happened was, I guess, in some sort of fight or ecstasy between Arthur Curry. Arthur Curry was real young; he was still a teenager, and he was fighting with his father, who was wearing the Black Manta suit.
Yep.
Killed his father. I think it was accidentally, or it was intentionally, but I do know it was like during like an accusation inside like a hurricane wreckage on the sea. And then
Mhm.
once he killed him, the father's son, which is the next Black Manta, saw Arthur Curry kill his father, and then that's when he wanted revenge, and Arthur Curry ran away, and then that's when he dedicated his whole life to avenge his father, and he mounted the Black Manta suit, and he became the next Black Manta, and ever since then he wanted revenge off of Arthur Curry
And
for just
from what I
for
remember, he teamed up with Orm. Isn't that what happened? Isn't that how he was actually able to? Orm was able to at least throw Arthur. What is it? Overthrow him,
yeah
to become King of Atlantis.
yeah yeah, he did team up with Arm to do that. That storyline with Justice League. Oh
Yeah.
man, I wish they did a cartoon movie for it,
Mhm.
but man, if they had time like a Marvel, if DC had like the with the Marvel universe like movies, oh man,
Yeah.
that would have been a great storyline to have like to be featured in live action. Like, cause that storyline of like with Orm and with the Justice League involved and Aquaman and the Atlanteans trying to take over the sea, trying to take over the Earth and stuff. It's a pretty good storyline. Like that should have
Yeah.
been like a live action movie right there.
And if you guys, I mean, the only time I really got to see like a real, like I seen the Atlanteans fight, but I like I don't know. I always thought they was real powerful until I seen what what was the soup did to them in Injustice. I was like,
Oh, that's crazy.
yeah. So basically, did guys is he threw Atlantis in the desert, and you guys can figure out how Atlanteans fare in the desert. It's not too
Yeah.
well.
Nah, Atlanteans basically they basically have all the same abilities as everybody else, like Arthur Curry
Yeah.
does, some strength and speed underwater, but some of them have different abilities. Because I know Mira, who is like um who eventually becomes Arthur Curry's wife and becomes
Mhm.
the Queen of Atlantis. She has the ability of like controlling water, so like she could really like control water like at anywhere, even if she was on land in the desert or anything like that. She has the ability if there's any like H2O around
Oh,
her.
hydrokinesis.
Yeah, hydrokinesis, which is yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Thank you.
So
Yeah,
she's
she has that
basically a
ability.
waterbender, guys.
Yeah, exactly, definitely. Yeah, you can say it like that. She's a DC version of a water bending, and it's
Yeah.
pretty cool because like she can control her powers, and I really think she really could control her. And also, she's not really an Atlantean. Her tribe, she's from a different tribal like water people, from a different like tribal water people in the sea.
Yeah,
So
which guy?
it's
Which
kind of like it's kind of like you know how like Superman with Kara,
Yeah.
Supergirl, like they both, yeah, they're cousins. So it's like the cousin planet of like
Well,
Superman of Krypton. So
it's
it's kind of
kind of
like that with
it's kind of
Atlanteans.
like Black Panther. What is it? Jabari tribe.
Yeah, yeah,
So
exactly, just like that.
it's like the Jabari aren't Wakandans, but they are part. Like they know. Well, they aren't from the city Wakanda. They excluded themselves, but you know, how do I explain it?
Hmm.
Like they still
They're just like they're still in that world, like in that like civilization, but they're just not part of like the Wakandian people.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like yeah, so it's basically like that. They have their own king, which is Mira's father. And
Hmm.
I was watching the trailer where they was talking about like they ride like different type of animals that signify like what part of the sea they're from. I believe
Yeah.
like Arthur and them, they ride sharks. Then you got like these crocodile type sea creatures from Marish tribe. One's on a seahorse, and I want to see if they're gonna start getting more in depth of like the underworld world, like because I don't know. I mean underwater world because like in the comics, do they really get into the whole all right Atlantis culture and how it's like far different than what is it, the surface dwellers?
Hmm. Well, originally, like it's kind of like well, because the originally the Atlantean history,
Mhm.
the Atlantis came was originally like a real well in real life it was actually a city, a civilization,
Yeah.
like in somewhere in Greece or in Italy. It was like in an island,
And then it
and
sunk.
eventually the civilization just sunk, and like it just nobody knew why or how, and the civilization was just lost in the sea for like thousands of years, and till this day people are still trying to find like the lost city of Atlantis. Like in the comic book version of like what DC took from that storyline is that they also had these magical abilities that once there was some type of like ritual or something or like some type of like origin or orb that controlled the city because the city was really powerful and really
Yeah.
advanced civilization, and something happened that made the city sunk, and still they were still survived, but now they're living in a different type of like environment.
Yeah, the event and like I like the in the trailer how they showed how advanced I mean I keep saying Wakandans that
Yeah,
the Atlanteans are like they have ships and things like that. They have like underwater ships, at least boats, submarines, and they built like in the visuals they've shown like they built their city on a reef, like this huge underwater reef, which I think is pretty cool because it's like it shows the capability of like, all right, if we take care of our planet, this is how it's gonna look.
exactly.
And like,
Yeah,
so I guess it's like one of those things. I'm pretty sure in the movie they're gonna talk about the environment, how
yeah,
to
definitely.
protect it. But and one thing I also like is like in New Rockstars they brought up the whole parallel that, well, I can't say, yeah, so that King Arthur has with Arthur, uh aka Aquaman, and is explaining a little bit about it, like how him getting a trident is kind of the same thing as Arthur taking the sword out of the rock. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah,
he
exactly.
first king, like King Arthur, he didn't know that he was royalty or anything. It wasn't until he took the sword out the stone, and it's kind of the same thing with Arthur of Atlantis. Is like he just was thrown into this life of being being in between. Like he's a surface dweller, but he's also a Atlantean. And it's like he's just being thrown into the role of king. How is he gonna handle that? And which I find pretty interesting how like they're gonna handle that whole ordeal. And
Hmm.
I like his whole,
Yeah,
and I also like his whole journey with the trident.
yeah, definitely. Like people like wanted to become like seek to become king and stuff like that. What I think like the biggest surprise that I love that I didn't think was gonna happen, but they really did it,
Yeah.
and I'm kind of like pissed off a little bit when it did happen because
Mhm.
I was like, damn it, they saved that until like the the movie until everybody watched the movie. But what happened was that James Wan showed a clip in the trailers that that Jason Momoa in the full Aquaman like original suit, which I didn't think they were gonna do, but he
Which
actually did
one?
it, and he actually the original orange
And green?
orange long orange gills with the green gloves and green boots pants actually,
Yeah, which
and he
kind of
was
looked
pretty
like
good because I
seaweed.
thought yeah exactly hey I didn't think I thought it would look pretty, and he was him holding the trident, which I think it was pretty cool because I didn't think Jason Momoa, to be honest, could pull it off to where though I was like how's it gonna look, is it gonna look too nah it's gonna look too cheap.
Yeah, I
But
thought it would look kind of cheesy.
he actually looks pretty badass in that suit. Like, really, like when I saw it, I was like, yeah, that's the way how he's supposed to look in the comic books.
Guys, you want to sell a good comic? You got need guys with muscles, long hair, and sex appeal, with a lot of scenes with shirt off. All right.
Definitely. But
Now,
he actually pulled it off. Like, that's crazy.
I even like the whole idea of like being Atlanteans. Like I like the whole idea how they explain how like when Atlanteans are in water, the water is kind of like air to us, where like we're not gonna feel the air on our body or anything like that. Like we don't like
Hmm.
that doesn't bother us, and it's like water, and that's how the water is to them. Like the water doesn't doesn't treat their body how our body would be treated. Like their body doesn't absorb the water in the same way.
It's the same way as yeah, as
Cause
we
like
do.
yeah, cause they come out of land. I mean, they come off when they come out of the water. Like yeah, they're all wet and stuff, but when they're underwater, it's more of like they're protected.
Mhm.
And I like
Definitely.
that whole idea. And maybe they might explain, like, all right, Lanteans, like, the reason, like, I mean, people could understand, because I kind of was thinking about that earlier, where I'm like, well, I can understand now why when the Lanteans are on land, why they're so powerful. Only because of the fact is, yeah, they're underwater to a point where, like, they're withstanding pressures we would never be able to like, withstand.
Yeah, they would say the pressure that we. Yeah, I think they definitely talked about it in the comic books. They go into that a little bit. I don't know if they're gonna be able to, if they go into it more into the like the movies, but obviously you could just definitely see the way how Aquaman's character is gonna be. We already seen how he can act during
Yeah,
in the
he.
comic,
I
and
mean, he's a
then
fantastic
in the
actor
movie.
because he kind of got me back into Aquaman. I mean, who used to play Aquaman before? The dude that played Oliver Queen. Nope, he didn't play Aquaman. Uh,
No, he didn't like. Oh, you guy in
Smallville.
Smallville, right?
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
trying
yeah.
to.
It was no, cause yeah, it was definitely that guy. But then they were gonna actually do a TV show of Aquaman, and it was gonna be the guy who played Green Lantern in the guy who played Green Lantern in Smallville was gonna play Aquaman. But it never. They did a pilot, like a little bit like a pilot of a promo, but it didn't work.
Yeah.
And eventually the project was canceled.
Yeah, and you know, I really like how they incorporated like what is it, Mira and the others into it, like a lot more. Like they finally introduced, like, I don't know. Before, I felt like when I first was getting to Aquaman, I didn't know who Mira was at all. I'm listening to like, who's this chick? Like, where she just pop
Oh,
out of?
I didn't know like her character. I definitely knew about her character, but they definitely I only saw her as like a smaller role before even I read the comic book because all I seen her was like the wife of Aquaman because I when I grew up with the Justice League and Justice League Unlimited TV shows,
Yeah,
they definitely showed his wife, but his wife was mostly played like a little bit like the Queen Atlantis.
yeah, in which
But
they give
she
her
didn't show
more
off
of a
her she
role.
didn't show off her powers or something. Yeah, they didn't give her much of a role. But definitely when I started reading the comic books more, and then now with the movies that are coming out, yeah, they Amber Heard played who's been playing Mira and now playing Mira in Aquaman is definitely comic books because in the comic books, if you guys read the comic books, definitely
Yeah,
she's really great. Like I love her character in the comic books. There's actually one storyline in the New 52 that Mira and Wonder Woman team up together to go on a mission together, and it's really
yeah, and that and you like Mira. I feel like like you said, like how you know how, like they put her Wonder Woman. I feel like they did that because Mira on her own is like a very strong character on her own.
she's
I,
definitely yeah she really is.
and
That's what
like
I like about her because she was really like they even
she's
show her
Arthur's
character.
backbone.
She could really like handle herself like without even Aquaman.
Mhm.
Pretty cool. I can't wait. I can't wait to see it more.
Yeah, me neither.
I think also I was hearing somewhere, well, in one of the podcasts that I listened to,
Mhm.
is they also said about like in when they were filming Justice League that
Yeah.
she was for her in her like Mira was gonna have a bigger role, a more bigger like yeah a bigger role in the movie. I think they shot a couple of scenes that she's gonna be also involved with the Justice League maybe a little bit,
Yeah. It
but
w
they cut throwing certain like scenes off, so we only got that one big piece of like when Steppenwolf came to Atlantis and we saw Mira the first time we saw Mira.
yeah. And which I like the whole idea to add in there because I feel like there needs to be more female a lot more female representation. Like Wonder Woman did fantastic in the box
Yep,
office, and I feel like
definitely.
that's definitely a goal that they're going for. Is we need more things make women like make young girls feel like they're part of what is it, the DC Marvel universes. Like
Definitely. They also did even especially now since now Captain Marvel that's about to come out in
yeah,
March or
and
February next year, which is gonna be great too because I can't wait. I've been reading her storyline in the comic books and her storyline is really great in the comic books, so I'm hoping to see if they incorporate that in the movie too as
Yeah,
well.
because Captain Marvel, she has to be one of the most successful like female characters to ever be created, because she was one of the first ones to really show like a very I wouldn't say masculine, but Carol Danvers, I mean, she does give off a role like, you know, she doesn't really care for men, not even just care for them, but she doesn't shy away from them. She challenges them, like her and Tony Stark, how they bounce off each other. Let's just say they're basically like, she's a female version of Tony Stark, except she's not so smart, but Tony Stark isn't as strong as she is either.
Oh yeah, definitely. And she's not that much of an asshole like Tony
Yeah.
Stark is.
Like they both go through alcoholism and stuff like that, which I like they could relate to. They both fight over
Yeah,
who's the leader.
yeah, in the comic books, definitely they you see that relationship that they have
Yeah.
in between the both of them, because they are like they both do show like similarities between each other, and definitely I hope they once she teams up with the Avengers, they show that too between her and Stark.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
hoping also, I thought originally she was gonna have more of a similarities between her and Steve Rogers, but since like, cause you know they're both captains, both have military backgrounds, so
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be more similarities. But when I read the comic books, I was actually surprised that it was her and Tony Stark.
But back to Mira. Did they like not Mira. Back to the trailer. So when I was watching the trailer, right, I seen where they had a part where they're showing like how Aquaman's being trained as a kid. And I was
Yeah,
confused because
definitely.
I'm like, all right, so like when he finds out he has powers when he's a kid, right? He gets all the animals to like look around and stuff, and the animals are
Hmm.
like, well, he's getting bullied, and they're like, oh, you talk to fish, blah blah blah, and like he gets the shark to start like calming down, even because at first it was gonna attack, and
The yeah.
it had me confused
I'm sorry.
because it cut off to a part where he's being trained by his mentor. I'm like, all right, so when exactly, like, how did he end up discovering Atlantis in this story, in like in the movie? How they gonna plan it? Like, is he gonna? Because in the original one, how exactly did he find Atlantis on his own? Didn't someone come to him and be like, well, wasn't it like his father's someone that follows his father?
Yeah, it was definitely. Actually, it was mostly. I think it was one of the protectors of Atlantis that came
Yeah,
and
so
showed
it
her Atlantis. Or even I think also like he discovers it on his own when he was discovering the sea and the different adventures. Because I in the comic books, he definitely, once he was growing up, he was eventually using his abilities and like discovering, like going throughout the world and just like going through different journeys under the sea.
yeah.
And also when in the comic books when he was training, it was because his father was a lighthouse keeper, and he knew his son had special abilities, but he didn't know how to like train it like scientifically.
Oh,
So what he did was, yeah. So what he did was he worked with like I think a marine biologist in one of the science labs.
yeah.
Them just were really astonished at what they did, and like was helping Arthur like learn his abilities, know where they come from, what other things that he can do, and just helping him grow with it with his abilities. But the only thing was is that the issue was that like his father didn't want him to be like a lab experiment, so he strongly suggests that like to keep it a secret. He didn't want to be like discovered because of the protection of his son and all that.
And which I hope they put into the movie and make it more realistic. Like, all right, he had to keep this a secret even when he was young. Like, I wanted to show, like, all right, as a kid, him having these powers, like how dangerous, how hard it was for him to kind of hide it, or like I want to see at least one point his father be like, all right, like be careful with what you could do, or whatever. Because I feel like it's like Smallville. Like, remember Clark's parents, like. He's growing up. They was worried about him all the time because it's like, "Oh, you got these powers. You gotta be careful with him." Like, because we don't want you to be discovered and treated like how you were just saying.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I feel like it would make it more realistic. Like I like movies like that. I want to be able to be like, all right, well that's realistic. Like I can see that happening. I just don't want to be like, oh, I just find out I have powers and I just magically get discovered. Like I always hated
Hmm.
stuff like that, and I feel like
Yeah,
they're
me
gonna
too.
do real well with it. Like they was talking about, oh my god, I forgot the Willem Dafoe. Willem Dafoe. So
William Defoe.
he is a fantastic actor. I love him. Like he could, I feel like he could sell any fucking
AKA
any.
Green Goblin.
Yeah, any like corrupted like guy. I don't know. He has a charm to him, but then after that charm, you see like when he plays these characters, like what the hell am I? Like, is this how this guy really acts in real life? Like it kind of gets you thinking like that, because he plays the role so perfectly.
Yeah, when they first cast him, I thought he was gonna be. I didn't know who he was gonna be, because I already knew that Patrick, I forgot his name, but he's mostly in the Conjuring movies because of James Wan, the director,
Yeah.
who also is directing Aquaman. But like when they got Willem Dafoe, I was really looking like, oh, I wonder who he's gonna play, because I didn't read like most of the cast members and all that. But I was really, it was really cool when I discovered that, yeah, that he was gonna play Orm in the movie, which is gonna be pretty cool.
Wait, Willem Dafoe,
Yeah.
he's playing Orm?
I think so. Is it? Is he
No,
playing
he's gonna be Arthur's mentor. He's actually the one that's gonna be training him.
oh,
So
the biologist.
so
Yeah.
no, he's actually from Atlantis. So I think in this version, what they're gonna do is they're gonna have it like they're gonna have it where it's like he finds Arthur, teaches. He's gonna be the one that teaches Arthur how to use his abilities.
Yeah. You're right. Because his name is gonna be. I just searched it up. His name is Nudius Volko. His character.
Yeah. So I guess maybe he might have already known, like, all right, the queen washed up over here or something. I mean, he could have always been in contact with Arthur's dad, and his dad just wanted him to live a normal life. Could have been something like that.
Yeah, it could have been something like that. Yep, you're right.
But I definitely like how they showed a clip of like him as a kid. He starts his training, and then as he gets older, you start seeing like, all right, it's natural, and it's kind of like it's jumping back and forth in a lot of it, because it's going between when they actually like it's going between after Justice League and what happened in the Justice League movies, and it also is going to be about other stuff like, but it's also going to be bouncing back to his original origin.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I just can't wait. Like, I'm just really happy that like they grabbed the storyline from. They're actually using like who's ever writing this is like actually like thinking and like doing, actually getting it from the comic books. Like, yeah, grabbing the thing from the comic books.
Yeah, not
Great,
just
good thing for James Wan, who's like actually directing this into like becoming a live action thing. So like the storylines are really, they're doing really well with the storyline.
I just hope like they don't try to ruin it like Michael Bay always does that every damn movie, and try to put too much of like products and stuff in it. Like I hate that. Transformers, he made me hate that Transformers movie franchise because he started doing that, and I'm like, God, like you're gonna get other people trying to do this.
It just kept getting repetitive. The first movie was really good. It just the sequels was just like getting repetitive.
Yeah, you're like I expect more.
Like, yeah, and it looks like they were just running out of ideas.
That's exactly, and that's how I really felt about him. I was like, oh, but I feel like DC could only go up from where they're at now because the fact is, like Marvel has their own thing going on.
Yeah, no, Marvel's doing really well. It's just that I just think like my personal opinion is like Zack Snyder would have if they would have put him like real back a little bit and just like got writers from like different comic books and other ideas, and then maybe have him directing stuff.
Yeah.
It would have been better, because like he's a good director. I'm gonna give him that. But I just think visually he's a good director. But when it comes to storylines,
yeah,
I don't think he's really that well when it comes to storylines.
And you know what, some is like that, because like sometimes you see the story in your head, but it's or like you can see a story in your head, and it's just some people that can make a really good story and don't know how to put it into visual content, and there's other people that they can do really good visual content but their story's trash. So it's like it's one of those things.
Yeah, that's what, and that's what I always say when I was like when the whole controversy of like, you know, when Dawn of Justice came out and Justice League came out and people were not liking it, and I told him like the fact, I was like, hey, like is this a director, like if Zack Snyder would have just gotten like more people who stuck to the comic books and gotten ideas from comic books and that put in more storylines, then it would have been really well. But like since that happened, it really downgraded, because it was just, the whole thing was that when I first saw Dawn of Justice, I thought like it was pretty good, but like it was just all over the place. Like it
Hmm.
was not, it was just jumping all over the place, and it looked like it was not like tamed to just like one storyline. There was like multiple things going on at the same time,
Like you
like
had
multiple
characters that weren't really introduced. I feel like I didn't. Honestly, I didn't bother to watch the movie at all. I just felt like I already know what happened in the movie because it was like I heard so much about it and people were just telling me, and they're like, "You're not really missing anything."
Yeah. Yeah,
They're
because when I
like,
first saw it, the first week when it came out, I heard that it was like critics were saying like it was like getting panned, like it was really not doing that well. So then I just went in. I tried to go in with an open mind a little bit because I was still excited because I've been waiting for this my whole life because
yeah,
that Superman and Batman are my favorite superheroes, and I've been waiting
yeah.
for them to team up on live action.
And even in
And
that
yeah,
movie, Aquaman stood out a lot more than even Superman and Bat.
yeah,
Like,
exactly. I was more, to be honest, I was actually more excited about like seeing Flash, seeing Aquaman, seeing Cyborg,
I feel
and
like, yeah,
definitely seeing Wonder Woman. But the rest of just the rest of I to be honest, I fell off the boat once that Ben Affleck was cast as Batman. That was like
I mean,
once I got
I could see him as a Batman because like real life, he's kind of like Batman, but I just feel like he tries too hard to give that demeanor of like
yeah.
I'm Batman, like I'm the Batman.
Yeah.
Like, listen, no one could do the I'm the Batman
Well,
voice.
to me, I just feel like yeah, he played. I do give him that. He does play a really good Bruce Wayne. Like he does look like the part of Bruce Wayne and everything like that. It's just that when he put on the costume, I didn't buy it. It just looks like Ben Affleck just putting on that
Yeah,
costume, which like I didn't really, to be honest, I didn't really buy it. Like
in which they
I didn't buy it when he put on the suit.
like Christian Bale's Batman, he was fantastic, and the reason why he's fantastic is they show Batman as a human. Like Ben Affleck, I'm just like, all right, he's an actor in the suit. Like I can't feel like, all right, that's Bruce Wayne. Like I don't know. It's
Yeah.
like if anything, he's Thomas Wayne. I could see him in Thomas Wayne,
Yeah, definitely. I could see him as Thomas Wayne.
or he
And the
could
other
be.
thing is like when they were first like casting for Batman, like they were looking for the next like actor to play Batman. I was saying like, I if it was me who was trying to like look for another actor, I would just go with like an unknown actor,
Mhm.
or like a little bit like of an unknown actor, like haven't done anything. But I would definitely not go for like a whole big superstar like Ben Affleck was. So then when I heard
Well,
that Ben Affleck was actually gonna become Batman, I didn't really
well, I
I didn't think it
realized
was.
with the
And
Justice
it's
League
also
movies, what they're trying to do is
yeah.
they're trying to put multiple different storylines into one storyline. Like in that storyline, right? And the whole DC, the movie. First you had Doomsday in it, which is Doomsday killing Superman. Is I believe is a whole different thing, especially when it comes to like the Superman in this one was more of like an injustice type Superman, where he would just like no one's stopping me. And I'm like, I don't really remember like the Justice League when they first met Soup going up against him like that. Or even like, yeah, Batman did recruit most of the members, but uh, I feel like they could have did a lot better with introducing characters, and especially of like, oh, he just finds them and he recruits them, and most of them are like, oh, like they try to kind of do like a, I don't know. At first they tried to kind of do like a Wolverine type thing, where remember when like Xavier and Magneto first recruit Wolverine, and he's like fuck off. I feel like they was trying to kind of do like that comedically with like certain characters. I can't really put a name on them, but like I feel like they was trying to do that. Like when you first meet Aquaman in the bar, you're just like, what? Like why would Aquaman be in the bar first of all?
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. Like, no, I kind of like that type of thing with Aquaman in the bar because
Yeah, humanism.
it
They
was
gave him the
alright.
human
I didn't
like
really,
the
yeah, they gave him that humanism type of thing. What I didn't like about was Flash with Barry Allen. They played him too much of like a Peter Parker type character.
yeah. Instead of playing him
Instead of
like
playing, yeah,
first of all, I understand that they want Ezra Miller as the Flash, and I can't argue with that. But I see him more of a kid Flash character, and the reason why I say this because, or like Wally West, I can see him as a Wally West, yeah. So he's the Wally West, but more of like a kid Flash Wally West, not really the older version yet.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he
And
didn't have that maturity yet. Like
yeah,
I still seen him. I still see him. Yeah, he could have definitely played like a
but the
kid
thing
Flash.
is he playing? So in this in is he gonna be playing Barry? So he's actually Barry Allen.
Yeah, he is Barry Allen.
See, this is where I feel like DC really messed up. I don't see why they didn't take oh my god, how do I forget this man's name? He is the most fantastic Flash I've ever seen. The red hair,
Oh,
he's
Wally West.
no, Flash TV show. He has like brown
Oh,
hair.
brown hair.
He plays the Flash in the TV show, and he's
Oh
Barry.
yeah,
Like,
him.
he plays a
Yeah, yeah.
fantastic Barry because he doesn't always
Yeah, he
just joke
definitely
around.
does.
He gets to the like
Yeah.
Barry. You find like the thing about the Flash guys, and you got to understand. And I know we're getting a little bit off topic, but you got to understand, like, when you're making a really good character, you have to get down to what humanizes him. And one of the things about Barry is being humanized is he laughs and jokes around a lot, but he's like, he only does that to protect himself. And like I said this before in another discussion, just like people in real life, most of the people that are always smiling and happy, they go through the most stuff, but it helps them run away from their problems, in which like the Flash, his power represents that running away, where he could physically run away from it, but he's never going to get away.
Mhm.
And it's
Oh
kind of
no,
like,
yeah, definitely.
I feel like with Aquaman, they should really cement that, like, the whole him, like, he's not completely Atlantean, but he's not completely human, so it's like him struggling with that balance. Like, certain things that he's used to doing, Atlanteans, I want them to kind of like look at him like, what the hell? And even though he's a king, I want even that at some points where they're like, yeah, you're a king, but you aren't like necessarily us. You aren't us.
Yeah,
Like,
definitely. Yeah.
and
I
I
definitely hear you on that. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. There was some. Yeah, DC definitely did. They should have like. I just feel like to me, if they would have just stuck to the comic books wise, and they would have they would have done better. I also feel like it's just with the storyline, like the storylines were great. They had like Wonder Woman and Aquaman's arc was perfect. They did their arc really well. I just think they should have gave enough time to develop Cyborg and Flash a little bit better. I thought they could have done a lot better than what they
I
did.
feel like Cyborg's story, I don't like, did they really explain that?
They only showed the video clip in Dawn of Justice when Wonder Woman was like looking at the videos and seeing how he discovered. There was gonna be a scene where there was a flashback in the Justice League of how Cyborg gets his powers and stuff like that, but I just felt like they just cut it way too much, and then like they went through it like they didn't even explain it that much, like, because
Yeah.
like how do you know if a person who hasn't ever read a comic book or hasn't even watched Dawn of Justice know like who Cyborg is? Like, they
And
should explain that earlier.
yeah, and
The
that's
whole movie,
exactly
the whole
what,
Justice League movie was just that. It was way too quick. Like they didn't have enough time to explain everything.
yeah, I
It
don't
was
mean to
just
cut you
that.
off, but it's
Yeah,
like
my bad.
it's, they made it more for like, alright, you already know who these characters are, and it's like, not everybody knows these characters. Like, as much as we love to say everybody knows Superman, I could say just about everybody. Superman is like Captain America. He's a symbol of the U.S. propaganda wise. Like, that's what he represents, the U.S., and that's what, like, a strong nation, or one person as a strong person, you know. But like you were saying, oh man, I lost my train of thought when I said that. Uh, I'm sorry. All right, you keep going. I forgot what I was just talking about.
No, it's definitely no. I definitely hear
Oh,
you on that. Like,
Cyborg. Like I was, yeah. So we do these podcasts for you guys, or episodes, whatever you guys want to call them, because we want to be able to explain this, and also we want feedback from you guys, so we can know what you guys think is a little bit differently, either how to record better, or how to explain some of these characters better, because these are characters which we're familiar with, but a lot of people aren't familiar with, and even us that are familiar with it, like, they do so many they redo characters, like, stories over and over, and there's so many different ones. Like, you get so, like, a Superman story, like honestly, has been done so many times.
yeah,
So
but everybody knows it's definitely like perfect example is Batman. Is Batman's storyline. Everybody knows Batman's storyline. His never changes because everybody knows his storyline. His storyline is like forever unchangeable.
yeah,
Like storyline. I think also the same thing with Superman. I don't think Superman they never change the storyline. It's always been
yeah,
the same too, as the same as Batman's storyline. So, but yeah, it's definitely I definitely hear you. Like these lesser known like superheroes, like they don't know people don't know like how their powers is. Because I remember I was explaining to one of my friends real quick, because he didn't know, he was listening to my other friend, me and him, we were talking about Aquaman, and he didn't know like what was Aquaman's powers, and I explained to him like his powers and like his abilities and what he is and stuff like that. And there's like a lot of people, and that's because like the between the modern age, they haven't put in a spotlight to these characters yet. Because I
Mm-hmm.
definitely remember when Black Panther came out, there was like a lot of people who don't read comic books, they didn't know like what was his powers, like Black Panther's power. Because at least like when you go to a random superhero movie like a Spider-Man, or a Hulk,
Yeah.
or Hulk superhero people, or Batman Superman movie, people know like their origins. People know what it's gonna be about. Like
Yeah,
people
and
know
that's
what
what Marvel
their
does
powers.
perfectly. Like
Yeah, which one? Yeah,
like they
exactly.
always explain the origin. Like even Wolverine, Old Man Logan, the old Logan movies. Like some of the old Logan movies, I can't lie, were kind of like, all right, what am I watching? But I
The comic book. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, the movies too. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, when they try to incorporate it, and it was just like one of those things. It's like, all right, so like, are they gonna follow this real storyline? Or are they gonna add just little things? In which I feel like DC in a way is doing with some of their characters, where they're just like winging it. And they're like, all right,
Hmm.
we're just gonna expect you guys to kind of get used to these guys, and then you'll figure out the story as you go along. But it's like we don't want to do that. We want it like, I guess they want like us to kind of figure out on our own. Like, all right, we watch all these movies, we're gonna figure more of the origin out, which isn't gonna work for most people if they don't know who the character is.
Yeah, and I definitely, like I said again, like I blame most of it between the director and the production and the companies too.
Yeah.
As in, like they just want to get these movies fast out because, like, they're trying to get in competition with Marvel because of like the Marvel movies. And I don't really like the whole Marvel and DC competition. Like, oh, like when people say, oh, DC needs to step up and stuff like that,
Mhm.
because like they should both be at the same rate, because these are both companies that two of the oldest companies that produces like all these superheroes, like all these superhero movies. I just feel like that with they just need to be a little bit, the company needs to be a little bit smarter of like how they produce their movies, a little bit cleaner. Like they need to really, and like they need to like pick because they definitely got the directors down, like the visually of how they want the movies to be looked, like the visually movies. The
Mhm.
problem that they're having is just like these storylines. Like they need to bring in these writers that they write their comic books into like writing movies. Like they definitely need to start writing like bringing in these writers from comic books to write these movies out, because like that's the missing key right there.
Yeah, that's exactly, and that is, yo, you hit it right on the dot, because that's what I was thinking. Like, how come they don't get the actual writers from the comic books, come in, say their ideas, tell them how they want the story to progress? So you're not looking at the comic book, you're not looking at the movie. You're like, what the hell am I watching?
Yeah,
Like, I
and I'll give
understand they
you.
got two different lives. Like, for example, Marvel. So Marvel with Tony Stark. Tony Stark, like Robert Downey Jr. If no one knows, like Iron Man, I'm telling you this right now, I do not know what Iron Man looked like before him, or I don't know any other person besides Robert Downey Jr. that could play him. Like even after he stops being that character, who else could really play that character? No one.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll give you a perfect example of like writers too. Paul Dini, who's been writing Batman since like the 19, because he started out writing the stories for the animated series in the 90s,
Mhm.
and he continued on until then. Even today, he's still writing. He went on from writing the TV show to writing the actual Batman comic books. And like, there's a lot of fans who, if you like talk to a lot of like Batman fans, they'll
Yeah.
know who Paul Dini is, because like he's the one who gave us Harley Quinn. He's the one who gave us like more of like storylines between the Joker and Batman and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
like I've been waiting. There's been a like debate between like Batman fans that they're waiting until like they give they give this guy Paul Dini a chance to like write in like a Batman movie, because it would be pretty freaking awesome like for him to write. Because if he did this perfect, like, because remember the Batman animated series became an Emmy Award show because of its writing. That TV show became an Emmy Award show. It was the best of its time because it was nothing like it. It
I
was
mean,
showing.
that's
It was a
where Harley
TV.
Quinn. That's where Harley Quinn became
Yeah,
like she was only meant to be a character for one episode, and look at her now.
yeah,
Like, what? When was that
yeah. But
even released? Because I remember I was young when I used to watch the
back
Batman animated
in
series.
back in 1992, it was the first season of Batman, and She eventually
Wait, it
became.
was 92?
Yeah, 92. It was the first one of the episodes. It was called Joker's Favor. It was called Joker's Favor, and basically like what you just said, Corey. Like she was supposed to be like one of Joker's like hench girl,
Yeah.
and she eventually became even bigger than that. She became a female version of the Joker, and then now you could see Harley Quinn everywhere.
And which I feel like that's exactly what they have to do with Mirror is like make it so you can't talk about Aquaman without talking about Mirror, or you can't talk about Aquaman without talking about Orm. Like I want them to make sure that they have they do that exactly. So yeah, guys, so that's gonna be the end of this episode. I really appreciate you guys for checking it out. We're gonna start trying to push out all these videos Sundays for you, just so you guys can enjoy it every Sunday and have something to look forward to. Mondays we're gonna start up Marvel Monday, so look out for that. And what is it? Please don't crucify me. Please don't crucify me for my editing. I am horrible at editing. I really don't know what I'm doing. So if one of you guys know how to, feel free to contact me.
We're just starting, guys. Please don't hurt
Yeah.
us. We're just
So you'll be getting a lot better quality videos after a while. But give us feedback. Tell us what you like and tell us what you don't like, and give us good ideas. What else do you guys want to hear? Do you guys want to hear about the Flash next? You guys want to hear about the new things going on in Justice League? Just give us a heads up. Let us know.